must have heard the names of Nicholas Tyre and George Floyd. These are the two names that have once again highlighted the treatment of blacks in the US. But the injustices meted out to them is not new. It goes long back in the history of USA. African Americans throughout history have encountered an overwhelming amount of obstacles for justice and equality. Many instances of these obstacles were noticeable, especially during the 1800s, where there were various forms of segregation and racism. These negative forces asserted by societal racism were present both pre- and post-slavery and continues till date. Although blacks were often seen as being a core foundation for the creation of society and what it is today, they were never given credit for their work, although forced. This oppression and segregation of the blacks gave rise to the Black Nationalism movement that arose within the African American community in the United States. So what exactly is Black nationalism? Where did it come from, and who were the figures who advocated it throughout history? And what is its relationship to the fall of imperialism in Africa and other social and political movements? With so many major racial justice activities going on throughout the world in recent years, it is important to be able to compare and contrast Black nationalism with current day efforts. This video will offer you a definition of Black nationalism as well as an overview of early and contemporary Black nationalism. Do stay with us till the very end. Pan-nationalism is a sort of nationalism that extends beyond the usual political boundaries of nation-states. Pan-nationalism is defined by the concept of establishing a nation based on qualities such as race, religion, and language. Black nationalist activism hence revolves around the social, political, and economic empowerment of black communities and people, especially to resist their assimilation into white culture and maintain a distinct black identity. The two key aspects of black nationalism are common culture, the belief that all black people share a similar culture and rich past that deserves to be advocated for and protected. Creation of an African nation, the desire for a nation that represents and celebrates black people, whether they are located in Africa or around the world. Black nationalists think that black people should band together as a group to advance their political, social, and economic standing across the world. They frequently question the concepts of integration and interracial action. So how was the foundation of Black nationalist movement laid? The travels and activities of Martin Delany, an abolitionist who was also a soldier, a doctor, and a writer in the mid-1800s, have frequently been traced back to the foundations of Black nationalism. Delany urged for the emancipated African Americans to go to Africa to help build nations. W.E.B. Du Bois is also regarded as an early proponent of Black nationalism, with his later teachings influenced by the Pan-African Conference in London in 1900. During the 1920s, Marcus Garvey, a Jamaican activist, founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association and the African Communities League, which expanded modern Black nationalism even more. Under the motto, "One God, One Goal, One Destiny," this league strived to improve the situation of Africans all over the world. They were immensely popular, and their influence waned after Garvey was deported to Jamaica. Then comes the role of Malcolm X. The Nation of Islam, or NOI, is a political and religious movement founded in the United States by Wallace Fard Muhammad in the 1930s and later led by Elijah Muhammad. The NOI aspired to empower black people and saw themselves as the chosen people. The NOI called for black people to establish their own nation and be given land in Southern America as compensation for being slaves. Malcolm X played a significant role in the NOI, helping to develop the organization in the United States and the United Kingdom. Malcolm X was an African-American Muslim human rights activist. Due to his father's death and his mother's illness, he spent his youth in a foster family. During his adult jail sentence, he joined the Nation of Islam and ultimately rose to become one of the organization's most powerful leaders, always calling for black empowerment and the separation of white and black people. Throughout the 1960s, he began to drift away from the NOI and embrace Sunni Islam. He quit the NOI after completing the Hajj journey to Mecca and founded the Pan-African Organization of Afro-American Unity. He stated that his Hajj experience demonstrated that Islam treats all people as equals and that it is a means of resolving racism. Several times, revolutions in other countries inspired supporters of black power in America and vice versa. African uprisings against European colonialism in 1950s and 1960s, as well as battles for independence in Southeast Asia and Northern Africa, were dramatic examples of success. For example, during Stokely Carmichael's 5-month globe-speaking tour in 1967, black power became a key to the revolutionary rhetoric in Algeria, Cuba, and Vietnam. Carmichael was a Pan-Africanist and co-founder of the All-African People's Revolutionary Party. In 2013, Black Lives Matter was co-founded as an online movement by 3 black community organizers. They formed BLM after George Zimmerman, a man of German and Peruvian descent, was acquitted on charges stemming from his fatal shooting of Trayvon Martin, an unarmed black teenager in Stanford, Florida in February 2012. The name Black Lives Matter signaled condemnation of the unjust killings of black people by the police and the demand that society value the lives and humanity of black people as much as it values the lives and humanity of white people. More than a year after George Floyd's death and the ensuing national protests, discussions and political pledges, 65% of black Americans feel the increased national focus on racial inequity has not resulted in improvements that have benefited their life. This is a shift from September 2020, when half of black people predicted that the increasing national emphasis on race would result in substantial policy changes to address racial inequality in the country. And 56% said that the improvements would improve their lives. Last year, only a white gunman fatally shot 10 black people at a Buffalo supermarket in a racially motivated attack with the goal to kill as many blacks as possible. Such racial attacks and the targeting of blacks continues, resulting in many black Americans being concerned about racial discrimination and its consequences. Almost 8 in 10 persons claim that they have personally encountered prejudice because of their race or ethnicity, and the majority also feel that the discrimination is the main reason many black people are unable to advance. Yet, when it comes to racial inequity, black Americans have a clear vision on how to effect change. Support for significant reforms or complete overhauls of several US institutions to ensure fair treatment, particularly the criminal justice system, political engagement primarily through voting, support for black businesses to advance black communities, and reparations in the form of educational business and home ownership assistance. Together with their judgments of inequality and notions about development, they are pessimistic about whether American culture and institutions will change in ways that help diminish racism. The black population has fought hard to get where they are in today's society, in terms of their courage, beliefs, and faith to accomplish what they have done in the fields of politics and music, and this fight continues. This was all you needed to know about the Black nationalist movement and the current scenario in the US. If you like this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel in depth. Thank you for watching.